Hello, everyone. It's Millie Jane here from the Real You podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about fears in childhood and how they affect you and block your success and the income you desire in your business today. I know it sounds weird, doesn't it? That something that happened such a long time ago can have such a profound effect on us in the present day. But don't worry, I've got some ideas and ways that you can get past all of that and move forward. So before we do that, I'd love for you to find the subscribe button on Spotify for the Real You podcast with Millie Jane. And please subscribe, and then you will be made aware with notification to say, hey, there's a new episode going live today. All right, all the housekeeping's out of the way. First of all, I'm going to have a drink of water. There we go. Okay, so let's start with our childhood and the root of childhood money fears. Now, as children, we start to absorb beliefs like absolute sponges. We're little children, we absorb everything that's going on around us. We listen to what people are saying, look at how they're behaving, and we're taking it all in. Now, we don't know how to deal with a lot of that stuff at that young age. So we will take some of it, which could be causing us to feel a bit fearful or scared because we don't know how to handle it, and we will push it deep down inside of us into what we call a suppressed emotion. And we push it down there and hide it away because it makes us feel safe. And when we feel safe, we can move forward and we can do things. So between the ages of birth, so age 0 through to about age 7 or 8, is when we form all of our beliefs from everything we've learnt that's going on around us and our thought patterns, and anything that becomes too hard, as I said, we push it deep down, it becomes a suppressed emotion, and it will sit back here in the back of your brain, which we call the hard drive, like on your computer. And this part here at the front is called the now thinking brain. So that is where your conscious is working from. But what happens is when a fear pops up, the conscious brain sometimes is like, oh, okay, how am I going to handle this? So it pops back to the hard drive at the back of the brain here, and it goes, okay, this has happened. How have I handled this in the past? And so it pops back to say it was age 5 when maybe something like a parent might have said to you, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that. And so this now brain pops back to the hard drive brain at the back of your brain there and says, oh, age 5. Oh, I was told money doesn't grow on trees and we can't afford that. And so I was a little bit miffed as to what do I do with that? And it made me feel like money's really scarce and it's hard to get and it's really hard to keep. And so I just pushed it deep down inside of me so I didn't have to think about it and I didn't have to deal with it. And it made me feel not safe. And so I pushed it all deep down there and I sort of covered it over, and then I got on with what was going on. And then what happens is that comes into the now conscious brain at the front here, and the same pattern of I'm hiding myself away, I'm keeping myself safe by not speaking up, not asking for something because money doesn't grow on trees and we can't afford that. And, it must be really scarce and it's really hard to get and it's really hard to keep, obviously, because mum and dad said so. So that's how continuing patterns come from childhood and follow us into adulthood. And unless something is done along the way to, one, identify the fear, when it happened, what triggered it, and, we can look at with kinesiology who was involved, what was said or done, and all of those sorts of things. If nothing's done about it, you will stay in that pattern for the rest of your life and it will continue on. It's all right. My cat is just looking in the window at me. You've got to love it when you know that there's no one in the house and you sit down to do your podcast and your cat has to try and get your attention. But anyway, that's part of life. That's the real you. It's the real happenings of my life right at this moment. And be grateful that for those of you watching on YouTube, that Tuxedo is not in here with me because he loves to put his butt to the camera. I don't know what it is about it, but there you go. So anyway, let's be real. It's all about being the real you. So if we now fast forward to today and say every time that you try to raise your prices in your business or you put a call out to call in higher paying clients, the little voice at the back of your brain here tells your now thinking brain, all those childhood whispers and, who do you think you are? And, money's not easy and it's really scarce and it's really hard to get. And, I can't upset mum and dad by asking for something because they'll just say we can't afford it. And this is a hidden program and it can continue to sabotage your ability in your business to confidently ask for what you're worth. And when you can't do that, you'll either stay stuck on one income plateau for a long, long time, and you won't be able to break through, or you will, it's called self-sabotage because you're doing it to yourself. You're stopping yourself from achieving what you want. But if you sabotage yourself so badly, it can actually, it can, have you taking back steps and you end up going backwards rather than forwards in your business. Now, there's a lot of different reasons that we don't achieve the success and income that we want to in our business because of the fear. One of them is a fear of being too much or being too successful. So have a think back to your childhood. Were you ever told, and I know I was, don't brag. You mustn't brag. Don't be too greedy. And you mustn't outshine other people. You mustn't be successful. Now, when this happens in your business, every time you step forward and, if you are going live or putting out a post on social media, next time you step up to claim the bigger income or that higher status, you are going to feel so much resistance because you might fear rejection. You might fear being judged. That judgment of everyone around you. Maybe your family or friends might see your live and really judge you for bragging or being too greedy and saying that you want to raise your prices and make more money. You might have a feeling of, I can't be too successful because I'm going to make everyone else around me feel really uncomfortable. Now, this is a really, really deeply ingrained fear, and it can keep you really staying small, playing small. You can stay stuck at a certain income level for a very, very, very long time, even though your now thinking brain knows that you're very capable of making more money and of being more successful. Now, another reason that we have fears around being successful, making money in our business, asking more clients to come in and pay us for our expertise. So it's when our inner critic starts being really, really loud because of a fear of rejection. So have a think back to your childhood. Did you ever get shut down for sharing your ideas as a child? I mean, I know I did. Maybe it was a teacher, it could have been a parent, a friend, and they really just dismissed you. And you can almost feel that moment that you got that feeling wired into your nervous system. And then what happens is, as the adult, as the woman in business who wants to be successful, who wants to attract lots of clients, make lots of money, be wealthy, be successful, that fear starts to creep in every time you go to pitch your offer, every time you want to send an email, put out a post, or promote yourself on social media. And, it's not just a fear of rejection. It's actually your nervous system, and it's actually trying to keep you safe from those past wounds, from those past emotions, from those past sort of yucky feelings that you had as a child. It's interesting, isn't it? How that inner critic, that brain, tries to keep us safe, and in doing so is actually holding us back. Now, let's talk about that scarcity mindset and also undercharging for our services. So, if you, as a child, you grew up in a household where money was really tight, you might still be carrying like that scarcity mindset into your business today. Excuse me, I'll just grab a drink of water. Some days you get a little more drier when you're speaking because you've been talking to clients or doing sessions or whatever as well. So just excuse me while I have a little drink. So if we're looking at the scarcity mindset, it might look like you discounting clients when they do contact you to work with you. It might be that you keep your prices, a lot lower than what you should be actually charging for the expertise that you're offering. You could be feeling really guilty for actually charging what you're worth. Now, that's a big one, and I know I've struggled with it. And even today, when I'm at my set point at the moment, and everyone has a set point of where they feel safe with their income. I'll do a podcast about that another day. And I know when I hit my set point, at the moment, it's mid to high 5 figures, and I'm wanting to go into 6 figures. And that can really bring about some real self-worth questions. I can feel really guilty for charging what I'm worth, even though I know I'm amazing at helping women in business overcome all of these blocks and these emotional fears that they have. It can make you feel really guilty, but I'm now self-aware, and I know when that guilt might be starting to, come into play, and I'm quickly and easily able to nip it in the bud these days. But if you're guilty for charging what you're worth, or attracting clients who are always saying, "I can't afford that," then the truth is that your energy around money is dictating who you actually attract into your business and the type of clients you attract in, but also the level of money that you're going to actually be able to make from that, because your energy around the money is a lot lower than what it should be. So if you're still feeling like money is scarce, then your business is always going to reflect that. Now, let's talk about the fear of asking for more. So we've left that bit over there about, the energy around money dictates, who you attract and how much you can bring into your business. But now let's talk about the fear of asking for more. Because if you were taught as a child that asking for things made you selfish or greedy, then that belief comes into your business today and just keeps playing out over and over and over. And every time that you think about raising your prices, launching a new offer, or even just simply putting out a call to action, which is the big part of selling in your business. If you aren't putting out calls to action to sell on social media, you're just going to have a very, very expensive hobby. Now, your subconscious may hesitate when you do these things, and it might tell you, I don't want to pressure people. I don't want to feel like a car salesman and being pushy, and I should be grateful for what I have. But in reality, you're just afraid to ask for more because of what's happened in your childhood. and feeling like money's hard to get, doesn't grow on trees, can't afford that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is perfectionism and that fear of criticism. Now, I had this from childhood growing up through to probably about age 44 when I actually discovered kinesiology, and I was able to address all of the behaviors and limiting beliefs that I had, acknowledge them, release them, and then change my perspective and bring in positive thoughts, positive beliefs, and the ability to be able to see past all of that old fear that I was holding on to. So as a child, I'm sure that you've probably been told you have to do it right. You have to be perfect. But when that pressure really shows up, especially in your business, it starts to become procrastination. You'll put off doing what you actually have to do. You'll procrastinate. Procrastinate is just an amazing word for I'm going to put off what I actually need to be doing in my business today, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to look busy and I'm going to comment on other people's posts and I'm going to watch a few Facebook Lives and a YouTube video, and I'm just not going to do what I actually need to do in my business to know and be able to do in my business to be successful. Start overthinking, then the self-doubt rises up. And when self-doubt shows in your lives, it shows in your posts and things like that, that's when the people out in social media land go, oh, I'm not too sure about the energy that this person's putting out. They don't actually seem to be very confident about talking about their price or asking me to actually contact them to make a sale. And deep down, you know, you can actually believe making mistakes equals failure or embarrassment. And this then leads you to hesitate to really put yourself out there, to fully be the real you. And whether that shows up on your video, in your lives, on YouTube, when you're launching a new program, or just talking about how you help people or sharing your truth online, it really, really holds you back. It causes issues and blocks and sabotages, procrastination and overthinking and self-doubt. And when that all comes into your business, you just fall into a big hole. And that energy is projected out into social media land, and your potential clients are feeling it. So they're not going to be drawn into you or your business. Now, let's talk about the next thing, which is really, really huge. And yes, it is a thing. Fear of success. Now, success can feel very, very unsafe. And if it challenges like everything you grew up believing, if your family struggled with money, or as in the case in, I know my mother had a view of rich people being greedy, then you might have an unconscious block around becoming wealthy yourself. So there's often a hidden fear of if you succeed, you're going to be different from your family. And that is a massive struggle. And I have struggled with that a lot because I want to be a millionaire, but no one in any of my family, anywhere going right back into past lives, previous generations, no one has ever been a millionaire. So I'm stepping into a new realm. I'm stepping into a new thinking process. I'm stepping into a new energetic area of having a lot of money, being a wealthy woman, stepping away from the fear of earning money and having money and the thoughts and processes that my family had around money. And I'm going to be very different from my family when I achieve that $1 million status in my business. But I know I'm going to do it, and I feel safe doing it after all the healing I've done. But you also could have thoughts like, people aren't going to like me if I am wealthy or I've got lots of money. They're going to be jealous. Or I'll lose relationships because of it. So even though you want more success, a part of you might be so afraid to put yourself out there and actually achieve it. So let's now talk about a need for approval, a need for validation, and playing small. So as we grow up, we seek approval from those closest to us, usually our parents, teachers, or authority figures. Now, that's okay to seek approval from others as long as you don't get stuck there. And I got into a pattern of belief and needing validation from other people to be able to do anything in life. And so it's why I didn't achieve a lot of things that I wanted to, because I couldn't just fake it until I made it. I had such a fear that if I didn't seek approval, especially from my mother, that I wouldn't be a good girl. I'd be going against everything that she believes and she wanted for me. And, you know, it's a big step to step away from what your parents' beliefs are and do something different, because you do fear being rejected or abandoned because of it. So you might be second guessing your prices, you know, rethinking your offers, you know, maybe posting it and then reading it and the fear strikes really, really, you know, largely, and all of a sudden you're deleting it because you're just too scared to put it out there. And just marketing your offers, you don't do it, or you do it on a much duller level because you don't want to upset anyone out there. But the truth is that successful entrepreneurs don't wait for approval. You actually have to reach out and claim it. You have to be confident with it. So my question to you is, are you holding back because you fear disapproval? It's a big thing to think about, isn't it? Okay, so now let's talk about how your nervous system reacts when you start up-leveling. So your nervous system doesn't actually care about your income goals. What it cares about the most is keeping you safe. So if hitting $10,000 months, 10K months feels very unfamiliar to you or very big, based on what your childhood conditioning was, your body is actually going to resist that success by creating high levels of stress. It's going to have you self-sabotaging or even burning out. Now, burnout is not fun. I've been there. So please, please try to avoid that if you can. So this is why you're doing all the right things. You know all the strategies. You're putting yourself out there on paper, but then you're not posting on Facebook. You're not going live. You're not doing all the right things to attract the clients, bring in the income that you want, and achieve the wealthiness and success that you want, because something still blocks you energetically. Your body is saying this level of success is not safe for you. No, don't do it. So the other thing I want to talk about today is actually how to rewire childhood beliefs to break through. And you can do it. And that's where kinesiology comes in. It is so brilliant at quickly and easily identifying the fears, identifying where you're holding the stress in your body, identifying what's actually blocking you. Why are you blocking you? Where are you blocking yourself? And then being able to acknowledge it all, thank it for the lesson, release it, so that you can then bring in all that confidence, all of that positivity and high frequency energy that brings the confidence of a successful entrepreneur. So you don't have to stay stuck in the childhood fears. Excuse me. Awareness is the first step. And once you recognize the old stories that you keep running through, you can actually rewire your mindset. We can regulate your nervous system and clear out all those energetic blocks that you've conveniently put there to keep yourself safe. So whether it's through using kinesiology, where we look at inner child healing, money mindset work, shifting those beliefs, I'm going to be able to help you allow to step into that next level of success and earning that income you want without fear holding you back. So if any of these resonated with you today, please let me know in the comments below. And if you really are struggling with being able to break through those fears to achieve the income and success that you want in your business, reach out to me. Send me an email at abundancekinesiology@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Millie Jane, or you can find me on Instagram at Abundance Kinesiology. Reach out today. Don't stop. Don't wait, because how long have you been in these patterns from your childhood through to adulthood? Have a think about how are they affecting your business? How are they holding you back and stopping you from achieving the success and the income that you so desperately desire? So that's it for today. I hope that you've learnt some things about how our fears in childhood come through and show up in our business today and how they're holding you back. And don't forget, reach out if you're ready to rewire your brain, your mindset, and regulate your nervous system, clear those energetic blocks, and bring in the high frequency energy of earning the income that you desire and feeling safe to be a wealthy woman. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.